Hi folks, just a quick video today that I wanted to upload to do with veganism versus whole food plant-based diets. So veganism is very much a thing at the moment. Everybody, Subway recently in the UK here just started offering a vegan sub, and many places, Pizza Express now offers a vegan pizza. This is relatively new, it's something that's sweeping the nation, if you like, and there's a reason for that, and that's because the science overwhelmingly now is showing that animal products are not good for human beings, by and large. I mean, it's difficult to make blanket statements, and they're not the optimal diet for people, put it that way. You've got people like the Western A Price Foundation will tell you that raw cheese and butter and milk is good for you, much better certainly than pasteurized animal products. But the point remains, the science demonstrates that even in its purest form, meat, when you look at the intestinal tract length of a human being, the jaw and the teeth of a human being, all of these things put us in the category of fruitarians. In fact, furthermore, not just plant-based eaters, but actual fruitarians like gorillas and bonobo monkeys. They're our closest relatives in nature, so it makes complete sense that we're not really designed to eat those foods, and when you look at the modern diet and you look at how endemic society is, absolutely riddled with chronic diseases, whether it's diabetes, heart disease, strokes, multiple sclerosis, cancer. We've never been sicker as a society in terms of chronic diseases. We've never been sicker. And when you look at people's diets and what people are eating, a huge proportion, especially in America, a huge proportion of their food intake comes from animal products. And a lot of these animal products now, you've got to remember, are how they have growth hormones in them, anesthetics, antibiotics. They're not natural. They contain so many toxins. Never mind the fact that pasteurized milk contains like under 10% pus. So like 9% of a carton of milk that you drink is actual pus. You're putting that into your body. There's so much about it that just from a health perspective, never mind ethics, it's screwed up. It's majorly screwed up. So anyway, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to prove that plant-based eating is the healthiest way to eat for human beings. Raw plant-based eating is actually the healthiest way, raw fruitarianism. But that's another video. You can see my other videos. But if anybody's in any doubt about this, or they don't take my word for it, I would suggest they go watch documentaries such as Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, The Cure for Wellness, What the Health. There's loads of them. Or go to the nutritionfacts.org website and watch some videos by Dr. Michael Greger. Anybody that doesn't concur with this information, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody or have a go at anyone, but they're just wrong. It's just outdated. It's like people used to believe that the sun revolved around the earth, and now we know that the earth revolves around the sun. It's not a matter of opinion, it's been proven. So if you still those people that still believe that eating meat and dairy is part of an optimal healthy diet, no offense, you just need to do more research, because you're just wrong. But so moving forwards, this whole shift, as people start to realize this, there's a tendency then to say, oh, I'm going to go vegan. I've realised that the cheese is clogging up my arteries because it's the wrong type of fat, and, cow's milk was never designed for humans anyway, and we can't digest it properly, and it causes inflammation of the artery walls, which leads to things like atherosclerosis, which leads to things like strokes and heart attacks, and a greater prevalence of these conditions anyway. So once you know that and you see the science, any intelligent person would think, well, you know what, I need to cut the animal products out of my diet completely. The dairy, the eggs, the meat, all of it's got to go, right? So then people go, okay, I'm going to go vegan. So then they go to these vegan alternatives, of which there are now many. Of course, the industry wants to, well, it notices this shift towards people waking up a little bit and realizing, veganism. But so the alternatives on the market oftentimes are actually worse than the original dairy or meat products that people were eating. So people say, for example, Dr. Michael Grieger says this. He says people say they're vegan, and when you ask them what they're eating in their diet, they're eating a shockingly unhealthy diet. You know, some students say they're vegan and they're eating like chips and crisps and, you know, apples or whatever. Apples are healthy, but you know, I mean, very unbalanced, unhealthy diets. Just a case in point, I wanted to take one product, for example, a product named Veganese, which is a mayonnaise substitute, which is made of, believe it or not, it's made of 67% rapeseed oil. 67% rapeseed oil. On the front of the pack, it says, Veganese, better than mayonnaise. And my answer to that would be, better at causing heart attacks than mayonnaise, that's for sure. Because if you've got something that's got 67% rapeseed oil in it, vegetable oils are toxic. Again, please go YouTube that. Vegetable oils are toxic. Anything that's hydrolyzed, that is not, you know, this is the crazy thing. You'd be better off using like lard or butter than you would vegetable oils. So the point of this video is to say that there's an important distinction to make between veganism and whole food plant-based diet. And as Dr. Michael Grieger has pointed out, veganism is defined by what you don't eat, which is a very loose way of describing something. That's like me, instead of saying I'm a human being, that's like me saying I'm not a gorilla or I'm not a wolf or something. That doesn't really tell you much. Saying you're vegan doesn't really tell somebody much. It doesn't tell you what you do eat. And what's more important than what you don't eat is what you do eat. Well, they're both important, but you know, whole food, plant-based, that's the watchword here. Because, you know, if you go and watch, most people won't take the time to do their own research and they won't find out this information. Well, maybe, hopefully people are gradually starting to wake up, but any of those documentaries I previously recommended would make it clear to anyone that veganism is the way forward. Then if they started to eat vegan alternatives like, you know, the vegan cheese and the substitute meats which are made of corn and soy, which have excitotoxins in them. Excitotoxins are a massive source of toxicity. They destroy brain cells in extreme amounts from all parts of the brain. It's been tried to be covered up by the industry. If you go on YouTube and you Google Russell Blaylock excitotoxins, you can see a lecture that he did. He wrote a book called Excitotoxins, A Taste That Kills. Excitotoxins are found in up to more than 80% of processed food products. Crisps, snacks, ready meals, all sorts of different any processed foods. Most processed foods have excitotoxins, and excitotoxins go under like 30 different names. It can be natural flavoring, it can be called yeast extract, it can be called, look up MSG, like there's loads of different names for it. And if the excitotoxins are produced as a result of the industrial processes which are used to make that processed food, they don't even have to put it on the ingredients list. So sometimes you get in your excitotoxins and you don't even know it, and they're destroying your brain cells en masse. It's really scary. It's been linked. Watch the documentary, watch the lecture from Russell Blaylock. It's incredible that this has tried to be so covered up. Well, it's not surprising, but it's scary. Also, so the hydrolyzed vegetable oils, they're in like 70 to 80% of processed foods. You almost can't escape it. Again, crisps, snacks, ready meals, you name it. It's all over the place. If not the refined sugars, which of course are in so many processed foods. There's processed foods are a nightmare in terms of human beings' health, and so are dairy products and meat. But I would say, you know, this is what this video is about, is the fact that a whole food plant-based diet is a healthy choice. going vegan isn't necessarily healthy, especially if you're using a lot of processed vegan alternatives. Then you are possibly doing yourself more harm than good. Ingesting something that is made up of 67% rapeseed oil is just criminal to your health. You'd be better off having some scrambled eggs. You'd be better off having neither of those things, and instead of that having some avocado on sourdough toast, because obviously you don't want the gluten, because everybody is gluten intolerant. Doesn't matter whether you're celiac or not, you think you're not intolerant. Watch a TED talk called Daily Bread, the guy that wrote the book Grain Brain, or there's science is out there. Again, the industry, doctors mean well, but they're trained in a certain way, and they're only trained to know what they know. Most of our dietitians, go listen to John Rose and Dr. Robert Morse. Most of our dietitians and nutritionists don't know. They know some things, but their knowledge is unbelievably incomplete and often really, really misguided. They are trained, by the establishment often, and pharmaceutical companies pay for so much of medical practitioners' training that it's not a fair playing field. So, your health is in your own hands, and I just wanted to make this little video to help people, because I feel like people are thinking, I'm healthy, I'm going vegan, and it's like, what are you eating? Because if you're eating processed vegan alternatives, you're probably doing yourself more damage than if you actually, what you want to do is go whole food, plant-based, stuff that comes out of the ground. And excitotoxins also, just for the record, are in stock cubes, they're in gravy granules. You look where the yeast extracts, look for yeast extract and natural flavourings. You're going to find it all over the place in processed foods. And initially it can seem really tricky to know how to cut these things out and still enjoy your diet, because we've all become so addicted to the taste of these things. And one suggestion that I would make is that there's some amazing Facebook groups and websites, but Facebook groups in particular, where they are called like WFPB, whole food plant-based. And I would go one further, and the diet I'm currently on is a whole food plant-based no oil diet, because apart from a little bit of lipids, like a little bit of avocado or some flaxseed oil or flax seeds each day, that you don't need, and body actually doesn't want too much oils. In this Western world, most of us are consuming way too much oil, and oils of completely the wrong type. Body was never designed. Oils are processed. Where do you find oils in nature? You don't. Avocado, these things contain healthy lipids. Shouldn't be consuming. Most of us are consuming way too much oil. So the Facebook groups can be really, really helpful. There's loads of recipes. There's actual specific Facebook groups for whole food plant-based recipe suggestions, and they can hopefully help people to find much healthier, tasty alternatives that can really start to allow your body to detox and stop poisoning yourselves. It's a work in process, and I'm certainly, sometimes I struggle with it myself too. So, wishing everybody well, and have a great day, and thanks for watching.